Well, CBN medical reporter Lorie Johnson joining us now for more on this. Lorie, what's the deal on hydroxychloroquine?
Well, it's interesting, the timing of the president's announcement yesterday that he's taking it along with zinc. That's important because he said he started doing this protocol about a week and a half ago, and that's exactly the same time that two White House staffers announced they tested positive for COVID-19. You may remember Vice President Mike Pence's press secretary and also one of President Trump's valets. And so you think about the White House on television, it looks really big, but if you've ever been there, Pat, you know, it's actually a pretty small area. You know, the hallways are pretty enclosed and narrow. And of course, the president knows full well that heads of state are not immune to COVID-19. We saw Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of England. He almost died from COVID-19. He was in intensive care. Thank God he's okay. But the president said yesterday the reason he's taking it is he's seeing a lot of other medical people taking it prophylactically to help prevent against getting it. We know that there's a study going on right now at NYU of 2,000 people to see if it indeed does prevent people from getting COVID-19. The results of that study will be available very soon this summer, most likely.
Lorie, I'm a fan of zinc. There's no question that zinc is good for a number of health reasons. You want to talk about zinc?
Right. I take zinc every day as a supplement because it has been shown to reduce the replication of coronaviruses associated with the common cold. And it's thought that this hydroxychloroquine actually helps our cells absorb more zinc and also can reduce inflammation and other things as well.
Now, I want to ask something else, though. This man that got the coronavirus, who attended the president, gave him diet drinks. You and I know about what diet drinks do to you. You want to talk about diet drinks?
Don't get me started on the diet drinks. We're veering off into the gut health, but there's always, you know, we know that the gut health is directly involved in our body's ability to fight off disease, and 80% of our immune system is associated with the gut. And all those gut health experts that I interviewed said that these artificial sweeteners are the worst thing you could, they're worse than sugar. For one thing, they actually make you gain weight. Studies have shown that, and they just wreck your gut microbiome. So if you want to have sodas, at least have the regular sweeteners. That's not good, but artificial sweeteners have been shown to be even worse.
Well, so, but drinking diets, you actually get fatter, and so the president, unfortunately, is getting fatter. Is that the idea?
Oh, Nancy Pelosi really gave him a jab, didn't she? I don't want to comment on the president's weight. Hey, we all struggle with this, and a lot of us stress eat and everything. But yes, it's definitely poor for your health to be overweight. And these diet drinks have been shown in clinical studies to cause weight gain because of the way it affects your microbiome.
All right, last question. If they do have a vaccine, they've got to put it through several trials, but it looks effective. And do you think how soon would they have it out, and then would it be mandatory?
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the mandatory question because a lot of people are afraid, oh my gosh, if they're rushing through this vaccine, will it be safe? And, you know, in the United States, it is not mandatory for people to be vaccinated. Of course, we know that in schools, sometimes it's mandatory for children to have vaccines, but parents who don't want to vaccinate their children often choose to homeschool them. We know that in some nursing homes and assisted living facilities, and also in some healthcare areas where the patients or the healthcare workers have to be vaccinated. But if they don't want to be vaccinated, they don't have to be at that nursing home or in that job. So as far as like a mandatory vaccine for the entire country that's imposed by the government, that's a little bit hard to imagine. We know that in the United States, there are ethical concerns called informed consent, where even if your doctor twists your arm to get a vaccine, for example, the flu vaccine, doctors really recommend it, but only 60% of adults get it. And we think about things like cancer treatment and so forth, where doctors will say, hey, if you don't get this treatment, you're going to die. You still have the right to refuse it. So it's a little bit of a stretch to imagine that the government would impose everyone in the country to take a vaccine if they don't want it.
Thank you, Lorie.